These days, people tend to be uber focused on their body image. So in this video, I chat with Davina Mackenzie of the Davinity Method. She is a fitness coach, she is a nutritionist, and she is a goddess and superhero who has started her own mind and body brand that is changing people's lives. Davina not only energizes the body with physical exercise that is tailored to each individual person's needs, but she also works with people to really go deep within and to help repair the soul. So she is going to walk us through the process of how we can not only do this for ourselves to feel good about our bodies and our being, but also how we can do this for our children as well and pass that important message on to our kids. What's up, everybody? My name is Cynthia Veronica, and I am so excited to get into this content today. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I have a son who is a little person, and my channel focuses on sharing tips, on sharing ideas and experiences for parents of little people. And today the topic is body image. Hi, Davina. How are you?
Hi, babe. I'm good. How are you tonight?
I'm good. So one thing that I really love about what you do is the way that you really embrace every bit and part of your body, and you do it in such a way that is really respectful and really just positive, and it's just so inspiring and empowering. And so, as you know, my son has achondroplasia, which is the most common form of dwarfism. You know, one thing that I really want for my son is for him to look at himself in the mirror when he's older and for him to say, this is me, and I love every part of myself. So I love that you're not just like the traditional, fitness personal trainer or nutritionist, and you're not out there just like with this clipboard and you're not saying, okay, what do you want to change about your body? Check. Your approach is different. So what is the process that you go through with each of your clients? Talk me through the process.
I like to describe it as an inside out, like soul transformation, because a lot of times what we're doing, especially because of the messages that we get in our culture, we're doing this from the outside in. Like you said, like we're taking inventory and like, I want to change this and I want this and I want less of this and more of this. So that's fine if that is truly aligned with what you want and it is paired with a deep acceptance of where you are. However, we're usually left incredibly dissatisfied with that approach. And so the approach that I'm taking is to bring women back into their body so that they cultivate a really profound sense of trust within themselves. And when you learn to trust yourself along the way, then the transformations that you're making are coming from this really aligned inside out place rather than from the outside in.
So what inspired you to do this work with people and to, try to help improve on their body image? Was it, a moment in time in your life when the light bulb just went off, or was it a series of events that led you to do the work that you do now?
It was, gosh, I guess the only way that I feel like really describes this is just that like my life has been preparing me to do this. Like I developed an eating disorder at a very young age. I grew up with parents who were extremely abusive. And so my journey in recovering from that was, oh gosh, like so full of moments that were so full of struggle and so full of moments that were really profound that eventually along the way these tools just started to accumulate, and I just began very slowly, like sometimes I'm almost like it feels like it has taken like ages for this to like truly unfold for me to be like, yes, like I have like done this myself, and I have taken women through this process over the years to get to like the heart of the transformation, because it's a heart transformation, like it
Yeah.
is a soul transformation, and there is definitely not like any one light bulb moment where I was
Mm.
like, I need to like it has been like a series of daily committing to myself, and then therefore daily committing to my purpose, which is to help women in this way.
Mm. Okay, so when you work with different clients, what is your approach for working with different body types? I feel like almost everybody thinks that they have flaws. Do you work with them to not just say, okay, well, let's figure out a fitness plan, but do you also work with them to really, embrace these parts of their bodies that, they may feel self-conscious about? And how do you do that with your
Oh
clients?
gosh, that's a tough question to answer just because it's so individual to the person that's in front of me. And I do work with men too. It's just that the majority of people that I work with are women, but whoever it is that's coming to me, they have their own like sacred journey that their life has taken them through, and their own ways that they've developed these insecurities, and their own ways that culture has sculpted that, their parents have sculpted that. So
Mm,
like there it is different for every single person that comes to me. And I feel like that is being in my feminine to allow that to show up in my work, and to just like be present with what's in front of me, like and let them tell me what they need, because I don't know what somebody needs. They know what they need, and I'm just mirroring that back to them. So there's definitely not like a cookie cutter approach.
mm,
It helps that I am a personal trainer, that I am a nutritionist, that I have extensive training in feminine embodiment movement and feminine embodiment mindset. But it it's definitely the whole package of tools that I'm pulling out as we go. There was this gentleman, for instance, that I worked with for 4 years, and the process of him unfolding, and the process of him trusting me, and the process of him trusting himself was such a slow process, but not for him. Like that was what he needed. So it took him a long time to open up to me about some insecurities. I think we were
mm,
a couple years in before like things really started to unfold. Whereas I have some people who have done so much work on themselves, they come to me and they're ready, they know what I do, they know how I do it, and they're like, let's do this. But I do have a series of introspective methodologies that I'm taking them through to get them to come back into themselves and ask the deeper questions. It's just that, and sometimes we go back and we revisit those same things, because when we maybe are first presented with them, like it's not something we're really ready to see in ourselves or ready to talk about. But um, we end up like going through the process in a way that's really organic and allows that trust to build and that information to come out when it's ready.
mm. So, I mentioned that my son has achondroplasia, which is the most common form of dwarfism, as you know. And, it makes him stand out very easily. As a parent, I just really want Sebastian to feel comfortable in his skin when he's older. So, do you have advice for me or for parents of little people who find themselves trying to encourage their kids to feel better about their bodies? And to instill confidence in them?
That is a big question, and probably just one of the best questions that you could be asking as a mom. I feel like the answer to that really goes back to you, because like he's going to model everything that you're doing as a parent.
Yeah.
And so if you're treating yourself poorly, if you're not dealing with, your own body image issues, if you're not putting yourself first, I feel like I'm not a mother yet, but one day hope to be. And whenever I think about the way that I would want to show up for my future son or daughter,
Mm-hmm.
I'm always thinking like they need to see me putting myself first so that they understand that they're worthy enough to put themselves first. And when they have that sense of worthiness and they have been modeled that they're so like taking like the utmost care of ourselves is the most important thing, that builds so much self-esteem that we can't help but feel really confident when we know that we're doing the best to take care of ourselves and to heal as we go those body image wounds that come up, because they're going to come up no matter who we are, what's going on, and they
Yeah.
continue to come up and they continue to be something that we're needing to shed and to unlayer.
Self-care is so important, and it's so hard as a parent to really find the time, or even just when you have that time, when you find that space, it's so hard to do it without feeling guilty.
Feeling guilty when you're engaging in self-care and taking those moments for yourself. Like if we're not quite aware of how to move through that, then it can stop us from taking care of ourselves. But if we can understand that, like, one, where it's coming from, but two, that when I do this, this is an inevitable side effect that is pretty much always going to be there. And so it's not really about trying to get rid of the feeling, it's about managing the feeling and, like, again, moving through that and allowing it to be there and kind of being comfortable with the discomfort and still allowing yourself to do what you need to do for yourself. Does that make sense?
That does, yeah. Yeah. But the other thing you said about healing yourself, and that was one thing that I found was really intriguing to me when I had Sebastian. I didn't really know anything about achondroplasia. And one thing I learned is that I just really needed to heal myself. There was something within me that needed to heal in order for me to be more accepting. Having Sebastian was really about self discovery, and it was really about self-acceptance, and it was like this journey that just opened up this whole like road. It was like a veil that just unlifted, and I don't think I ever would have really experienced it had I not had Sebastian.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it's that unlayering, like you said, that veil that just lifted.
Yeah. And like that person that you worked with, that man that you worked with for 4 years, that didn't really, maybe he just came to that discovery really. So it's hard to really take off those shades, to really, just pull off those blinders, because you don't want to see something. You kind of just want to keep it hidden sometimes, and deep within, but when you expose it, so much healing can come from it. Yeah, you're exposing pain, but you're probably also learning and growing through the process of doing that.
Yeah, learning to be vulnerable like that can be like part of the journey, that you're needing to grow with too, is excuse me, that allowing the, like, vulnerability to be there through this, because you can't get through this process without being vulnerable and, like, being able to feel deeply the feelings that are coming up for you and let them move through your body. And that, isn't something that we're just taught. So, like, going back to your question, like, oh, this isn't something that we're taught. Like, we're not taught how to move emotion through our body. We're not taught how to feel our feelings, identify that feeling, put our finger on it, and then move that all the way through. So I think that is also one of the most amazing gifts that we can teach our kids, is this emotional intelligence.
I think one other thing really quick that you said was really rich was I think that mirroring, is so key when it comes to children really understanding that they should be embracing every part of their body and every part of their being. If someone, I don't know, looks at my child or stares at my child, the way I react is the way he is going to react, because he doesn't he doesn't know how to react right off the bat. As a child, we're all innocent when we come out of the womb. We don't really understand how to interact with other human beings. That's a learned behavior. That's something that we learn from watching our parents. So if he's there watching me, reacting in an angry way towards someone that's, I don't know, staring at him, looking at him funny, I am teaching him to do that, to have that same reaction, that same behavior. Most people don't realize that they can really control their thoughts and emotions. And I think that that's something that's really powerful. And I kind of, I see it in the work that you do. You're teaching people, you can have a mind shift when it comes to how you view yourself.
100%. And, not to say that this happens so instantly, but the way that we choose to speak to ourselves, the way that we choose to speak about our stories, to speak about our history, to speak about the way that we interact with each other, to speak about how something happened to us. They all are these beautiful pieces of information that just give us insight into how we think about ourselves. And then once we have this insight, we can start to shift this,
Mm.
and not just through the stories that we tell, but through the way that we move our body, because the way that we move our body is going to inform our physiology, which informs our thoughts, which informs our next action. So that the movement piece, along with the emotional intelligence, along with the mindset, along with the daily practices of like embodiment, really do change the mindset. And I mean, this is how I changed my life. Like, if you look at the life that I had when I was 18 years old versus the life that I have now, it is shifted dramatically. Like, you would not believe this. Somebody who came from the background that I came from could be the woman that I could be today, but it's because I've trained and sculpted myself through this my entire life, and my adult life anyway, when I had that ability to do so. So we can absolutely shift our mindset and shift our thoughts, but we need to become completely aware of them first.
So, Davina, it's been so wonderful chatting with you. So, check out the description bar below for information on how you can get a hold of Davina. And if you got value out of this video, hit that like button, and I will talk to you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye for now.